For over a century, one Montana family quietly worked their land through brutal winters and unforgiving soil. Then in 2011, they posted a simple video celebrating 100 years of farming. What happened next transformed their lives forever, attracting millions of followers and nearly destroying everything they built. By 2020, Welker Farms had become agriculture's biggest YouTube sensation, pulling in major sponsorships and celebrity status. Then one morning, a horrific accident changed everything. This is the untold story of how YouTube fame collided with the harsh realities of farm life and the devastating price one family paid for sharing their world. Nick Welker never wanted to be a farmer. While his older brother Scott stayed home working alongside their father Bob on the family's massive 10,000-acre operation near Shelby, Montana, Nick had bigger dreams. He headed to Colorado, earned his aviation degree, got his pilot's license, and planned a life in the skies. But after 4 years away, something gnawed at him. The pull of home, of legacy, of 4 generations of Welkers who'd worked this unforgiving land since 1912 proved too strong. When Nick returned to Montana, everything felt different. The endless fields, the isolation, the repetitive seasons. He felt trapped in a life he hadn't chosen. That's when he picked up a camera, thinking maybe if he could show the world what real farming looked like, he could find meaning in it. He started mounting GoPros everywhere, on the cultivator frame, inside the combine cab, attached to the legendary Big Bud tractors that made their operation famous. These weren't ordinary machines. The Big Buds were 100 horsepower monsters, the most powerful farm tractors ever manufactured, and the Welkers owned 2. In 2011, Nick produced an elaborate video celebrating the farm's centennial. Cinematic drone shots, time lapses of golden wheat fields, stunning Montana sunsets over massive equipment. He uploaded it to YouTube expecting maybe a few hundred views from family and friends. Instead, something incredible happened. Farmers across America started sharing it. City people who'd never touched soil became fascinated. The comment section exploded with questions. Within weeks, Nick realized people actually wanted more. What started as a creative outlet would soon become something far more consuming than anyone imagined. The growth was insane. By 2013, Welker Farms had thousands of subscribers. By 2015, tens of thousands. By 2019, they'd blown past 250,000 and showed no signs of slowing. The Big Bud tractor content drove most of the traffic initially. Viewers became obsessed with these mechanical giants, some dating back to 1968 when they were first manufactured in nearby Havre, Montana. The Welkers posted detailed restoration videos, showing every bolt, every paint stroke, every hour of labor. Comment sections filled with engineers and equipment enthusiasts analyzing every detail. But it wasn't just the machines. People connected with the family itself. Bob, the weathered third-generation farmer with quiet wisdom. Scott, nicknamed Leg Arms, for his incredibly muscular forearms, who could fix anything and rarely needed words. Nick, dubbed Hollywood by fans for always being behind the camera, bringing cinematic quality to farm life. The channel attracted unexpected audiences. About 60% were farmers or people with agricultural backgrounds. The other 40%? City dwellers, office workers, people who'd never stepped foot on a farm but found something authentic in watching real people work real land. Then opportunities exploded. Case IH, one of agriculture's biggest equipment manufacturers, offered a major partnership. The Welkers attended farm shows where lines stretched for hours. Young boys dragged their parents to wait 45 minutes just for an autograph. National Geographic featured them. Their faces appeared in Norwegian tractor magazines. Sponsorship offers flooded in. Advertising revenue brought thousands monthly. They'd become agriculture's biggest social media stars, proving you could build an empire showing unglamorous reality. But behind the success, cracks were forming that nobody could see. October 15th started like any other morning on the farm. Scott headed out early to work on one of the Big Buds. These machines were his pride, his specialty. He knew every hydraulic line, every bearing, every mechanical system better than anyone. What happened next remains unclear in public details, but the result was catastrophic. Somehow, while working on the massive tractor, Scott's forearm got caught. The crushing force was immediate and devastating. These weren't small machines. A big bud weighed over 100,000 pounds. When something that size moves, human flesh stands no chance. Scott's forearm was mangled, crushed beyond recognition. The injury was so severe that within minutes, the family knew this wasn't something the local hospital could handle. They called for an emergency medical flight, a helicopter arrived, and rushed Scott to a major hospital hours away where trauma surgeons could save his life. The injuries threatened everything: crushed bone, severed tissue, massive blood loss. Surgery lasted hours as doctors worked frantically to repair the damage, to save what they could. Back at the farm, Bob and Nick faced a nightmare. Their brother, their son, their partner was fighting for his life, and they had 10,000 acres that still needed work. Harvest wasn't finished. Equipment needed moving. Crops needed protecting. The channel that brought them so much success now felt like a burden. How could they film? How could they pretend everything was okay? Yet the audience didn't know. Subscribers kept commenting on old videos, asking when the next upload would drop. For the first time since starting the channel, the Welkers faced a crisis that cameras couldn't capture, that no amount of YouTube success could fix. Nick described YouTube as like a very hungry child. It demanded constant feeding. 2 videos per week became standard, and fans expected nothing less. Each video required planning, filming, and editing. Those editing sessions? Brutal. Nick regularly pulled 15-hour marathons hunched over his computer, cutting footage, adding music, perfecting transitions. What viewers saw as a 20-minute video represented days of work. The pressure was relentless. Miss an upload and comments exploded with complaints. Delay a week and subscriber growth stalled. The algorithm demanded consistency, and the Welkers had built an audience expecting it. But this wasn't just a YouTube channel. This was a working farm. 10,000 acres don't care about upload schedules. Spring seeding waits for no one. When equipment breaks during harvest, you fix it immediately or lose your crop. Weather doesn't pause for better lighting. Yet Nick found himself thinking about shots, about angles, about how a sunset would look on camera instead of just getting work done. Scott felt it too, though he rarely complained. There were days Nick needed him to move equipment to a field an hour away just because the light would be perfect for filming. Scott bit his tongue, recognizing his brother's vision, but frustration built. Were they farmers who made videos, or video makers who farmed? The line blurred dangerously. Bob watched his sons navigate this new world with mixed feelings. The YouTube success brought financial stability their farm had never known. Sponsorships offset bad crop years. The attention advocated for agriculture to urban audiences. But he saw the stress, the late nights, the way filming sometimes took priority over family dinners, over church, over simple moments that made life worth living. Then October 2020 arrived, and everything shattered. Scott survived, but the road ahead looked brutal. His recovery required multiple surgeries, endless physical therapy, and sheer determination most people couldn't imagine. Through incredible grit and family support, he slowly fought his way back, but nothing was the same. The accident exposed something the channel never showed, just how physically dangerous farming really was, and how vulnerable they'd become. The channel had grown so massive that taking a break wasn't simple. Sponsors had contracts. Patreon supporters paid monthly expecting content. The algorithm punished channels that went dark. Their income, which they'd come to rely on, depended on consistency. Bob, now in his 60s, found himself shouldering more physical work while managing the aftermath. He'd been gradually transitioning leadership to his sons, stepping back as they took control. Suddenly, that plan shattered. Scott couldn't work at full capacity. Nick was torn between filming, editing, managing sponsors, and actually farming. The pressure mounted from every direction. Equipment still broke down constantly. The big buds, for all their legendary status, were old machines requiring constant maintenance. Fields still needed spraying, planting, harvesting, based on weather windows that wouldn't wait. Bob later admitted that transitioning control had been difficult, even before the accident. What farmer easily hands over land they've worked for decades? But watching his son nearly die, then struggle through recovery while trying to maintain their operation and YouTube presence, forced painful questions. Was this sustainable? Had YouTube's success actually made their lives harder? They'd gained fame, money, and influence. They'd become advocates for agriculture, showing millions the reality of farming. But they'd also lost something precious: the simplicity of working land without cameras, without deadlines, without constant pressure to perform. The accident created tensions nobody wanted to discuss publicly. Nick and Scott had always been different. Scott was the mechanic, the strong, silent type who'd rather fix something than talk about it. He'd never left the farm, never questioned the path. Nick was the dreamer, the creative, the one who'd tried to escape but came back and transformed everything with a camera. Before YouTube, those differences didn't matter much. They worked side by side, each contributing their strengths. But fame changed the equation. Nick became the face of the channel, the personality viewers connected with. His Hollywood nickname wasn't just about being behind the camera. He understood storytelling, engagement, what made content viral. Scott remained in the background, the guy doing actual work while Nick filmed. Some viewers barely knew his name beyond leg arms. The accident brought those dynamics into sharp focus. Scott's injury became content. The video documenting what happened pulled massive views. Comments flooded in with support, prayers, and concern. But was that okay? Was Scott's trauma just another upload? Nobody said it out loud, but the question hung heavy. They also disagreed on direction. Nick saw unlimited potential: expand the channel, hire editors, bring in more sponsors, turn Welker Farms into a full media brand. Scott saw it differently. They were farmers first. The channel should serve the farm, not the other way around. Bob tried mediating, but he had his own concerns: their Christian faith, their commitment to family values, their role as agriculture advocates. Those things mattered more than subscriber counts. Yet the YouTube machine kept demanding more. The tension wasn't explosive. These weren't dramatic blow-ups caught on camera. It was quieter, more insidious. The slow realization that fame had fundamentally altered relationships that once felt simple and solid. Welker Farms still post videos regularly. They've grown to over 630,000 subscribers as of late 2024. Scott made a remarkable recovery, though he's more careful now. The big buds still roar across Montana fields. Case IH partnership continues. On the surface, everything looks successful, but something fundamental shifted after October 2020. The family talks more openly now about balance, about faith coming first, about family mattering more than views. Bob's quoted, saying the celebrity status has been nice, but it comes with tremendous time investment and stress on the family. They pray constantly to remain faithful to God and to their audience. Nick still creates stunning cinematic content, but the upload schedule relaxed slightly. They miss weeks sometimes. The comments section understands now in ways they didn't before. Fans who watched Scott nearly lose everything show more patience, more grace. The channel evolved from pure farming content to something deeper. Videos now include family moments, faith discussions, reflections on work-life balance. It's less polished sometimes, more raw. Some viewers complain it's not what it used to be. Others appreciate the authenticity. The Welkers discovered what many creators learned too late. You can't maintain that intensity forever. Something breaks. Either the content, the relationships, or the people making it. They chose to pull back before losing more than Scott's arm. They chose family over fame, faith over fortune, farming over filming. Whether that decision costs them, viewers doesn't seem to matter as much anymore. The land that's fed their family for over a century will still be there long after YouTube algorithms change and subscribers move on to the next viral sensation. Welker Farms became everything YouTube promises: fame, income, influence, and connection. But it also revealed the hidden cost of constant content creation, of turning your life into entertainment, of never knowing where work ends and performance begins. Scott's accident was the wake-up call they didn't know they needed. Today, the Welkers continue sharing their story, but on different terms. They've learned the hardest lesson creators face: success means nothing if it costs you everything that matters. Sometimes the camera needs to turn off, and sometimes the most important work happens when nobody's watching.